We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button. Ring the notification bell. Share the video if you want to support this college football's Rebel Outpost with a donation to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Hit that $sign where you make your comment, and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend. Touchdown, Indiana. Touchdown, Indiana. Touchdown, Indiana.
Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown!
So this is a post game. We are going to be doing a lot of post game stuff next year in 2026. We are going to be putting out a lot more content when it comes to the college football's Peek Around the Corner. I explained the reasons why earlier today. During our post-game shows, we are going to open up the phone lines, something that we don't really do during our watch parties. So, this is me. I'm going to give you my opinion on what all this means. Globally, everything. Okay? And then we're going to open up the phone lines. I said earlier today, after this game, There ain't going to be no more talk about Indiana's really not that. Indiana's not really, they're good, but they haven't beaten anybody. They're not really talented. This team is incredibly talented. Push away the recruiting rankings. Push them away from the table. Forget about that. This Indiana team was extremely talented last year. They're more talented this year. This Indiana football team is one hell of a football team. And they're going to be I don't know what's going to happen between Oregon and Indiana. We'll make the picks. We'll make those selections when the time is right. But this Indiana football team, look, I did not think that Alabama could score more than 13 points in this game. Unfortunately, Ty Simpson got hurt. He fumbled on that play that he should have slid. Bama can't run the football. Like I said, Bama can't run the football. Bama cannot run the football against a Jared Jones, Benjamin Griffin, Jason Spangler, Marcus Williams front four. They weren't going to run the football against Indiana. And then Indiana was eventually going to be able to run it, and they have. And Mendoza is the Heisman winner, and they don't make any mistakes. And this is your Indiana Hoosiers. We all got to start thinking differently here, guys. It's a different college football world. It is. The Indiana Hoosiers are for real, and they have been for 24 months. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of college football YouTube channels that I enjoy immensely out there. Not just because they're entertaining, but there are smart dudes talking about college football across the country. One of those guys is Cousin Shane from Mike SCC Podcast. I love Mike. I love Cousin Shane. They do a great job. I love listening to them talk. I learned so much about the Southeastern Conference, about the teams, about the coaches, about all the changes. One of the college football YouTube channels that is a must watch and see. But again, Cousin Shane, I love him, man. I absolutely adore that guy. He came out during this game and said, I'm paraphrasing, I was wrong. Indiana's not a fraud. I was so damn wrong, or something to that effect. We are all prisoners of our so-called reality. People could not grasp the fact that Indiana has a great football team. Well, they do have a great football team. Are they good enough to beat Oregon? Are they good enough to beat the winner of Georgia, Ole Miss, and Miami? I do not know. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. What a spectacular performance by Indiana. And we all know this is not this Bama team. Good victory against Oklahoma. They got into the playoffs. It's not like this is a good Bama football team. But it's not a great one. It's not. I would have had Notre Dame in the playoffs, but I can understand why Alabama made it in. I'm not all hung up on that. I think, of course, you all know I think the playoffs should be much, much larger than it is now. I've got no problem with Alabama being in the playoffs in reality. But this was not a team that I thought could score against Indiana. Let me show you guys something here. We are going to get to your phone calls as soon as possible. Thank you, John Teal, for the $2 holler. I'm going to get to that in a moment. But let's look at this. Fernando Mendoza, 14 of 16, 192, 3 touchdowns. Alabama has carried the ball 15 times for 38 yards. Indiana, 41 for 204. That's it. That's the game. Now, my question to you all is, and we're going to open up the phone lines. Super chats get the preferential treatment. Super chats. John Teal. We're going to open up the phone lines here. But I got a couple of questions to ask you. John Teal super chat. Paul Feinbaum needs a wellness check after this. I don't know what Paul Feinbaum is going to say. I don't know. This might turn into a Kalen DeBoer type of conversation in Tuscaloosa. Paul Feinbaum taking the... I do not know. I really don't know. But this story is really about Indiana. It really is. This Bama team, limited. Should it be limited? Probably not, but they're limited. This Indiana team is not limited. A very well-balanced team that's going to be going against Oregon, which is a very well-balanced team. They've already slugged it out once this year. They're going to slug it out again. But I wonder if Paul Feinbaum, people in Bama, I wonder if they're going to turn this into a Kalen DeBoer discussion. Now, I have said, Ryan Williams with a good play. I have said, thank you, John Teal, for the $2 holler. I very much appreciate it. There is a lot of great Southeastern Conference football fans in the PATC family, and I adore each and every one of them. But there's been a lot of talk again this year from Auburn, Edward the Auburn Tiger, and others saying, if you watch the SEC, it's just different. They're better. They're better than the Big Ten. They're better than everybody else. My point is this, and it has been all year long. SEC football is fantastic. The environment, the football stadiums, the fan bases, the excitement, the commitment, it is all incredible. Southeastern Conference football, I love you. I love to watch you. I do a lot of Southeastern Conference watch party games. Have you noticed? Have you noticed the Southeastern Conference TV ratings? But what I have disagreed with is, I don't really see the difference anymore. I don't. Not really. I saw Alabama play Auburn, and I get that was a rivalry game, and Auburn escaped by the skin of their teeth, and then Auburn suddenly jumped Notre Dame because of that game. I'm not seeing this great difference between the Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference. I am the very last one who has crossed that bridge. So you all can yell at me, y'all Big Ten homer, fat guy from Minnesota, the re-elected mayor of Louisville City. I am the last one, the very last one to cross over the bridge to say yes. No longer is the Southeastern Conference the best football conference in the country. Because it ain't. It's great. Maybe the Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference is tied. Maybe the very bottom of the Big Ten is not as good as the SEC bottom, but the middle is. The top definitely is. The difference no longer, the gap no longer exists. And because of the fluid of talent, the talent that is spread out. You got teams in other conferences besides the Power 2 that can jump up, that can rise up, and they can put a magical season together. Texas Tech is one of them. Miami is another one of them. There are going to be others. There are going to be others because of the world that we have created. And I love the world that we have created, but we need a playoff that shows it. You all know I am the captain of the Army of 24. Again, for those who do not know, 4-4-4-4-2-6. And no, Southeastern Conference, no Big Ten, listen to me. A 4-4-4-4-2-6 does not put a cap on the Southeastern Conference. It does not put a cap on the Big Ten. It doesn't put a cap on the ACC. It doesn't put a cap on the Big 12. 4 AQs. And if you can't finish in the top 4 of your conference, you better have some great non-conference wins. And if you do, then you can get a spot in the 6 at-large spots. Large conferences are not going away. Imbalanced schedules are not going away. The spreading of the talent is not going away. So what has to change is the playoff format. It's got to be large, and it's got to include AQs. I am going to get to your phone calls here. Also, what the large playoff format does, please wake up, Joe Klatt. Please wake up, Josh Pate. Please wake up, everybody on ESPN. Please wake up, Reese Davis, who looked straight in the camera and said that the playoff of 24 was an absurd idea. Wake the bleep up. Because in the playoff of 24, because of 4-4-4-4-2-6, you are allowed to get better during the season to make the playoffs. Miami Hurricanes. They were almost out of the playoffs. If BYU would have beat Texas Tech, Miami would have been out. Miami should not be out of these playoffs. Notre Dame should not be out of these playoffs. Utah should not be out of these playoffs. BYU should not be out of these playoffs. I don't even think USC should have been out of the playoffs. More teams. We got to go to 24. All right, I'm getting off that soapbox. We are going to open up the phone lines. We are going to open up the floor. Again, I just want to say something because I always get yelled at here, which is fine. That's what I'm here for. The 4-4-4-4-2-6 does not cap the SEC at 4 teams. It doesn't. It breaks the seal. You can have 7 teams in the playoffs. You can have most of them have a first-round home game or a first-round bye and a second-round home game. It does not hurt the Southeastern Conference. It only helps all of college football because it creates a higher floor and it creates the ability to get better during the season and it creates the double bite of the apple playoff format. You either rock and roll in the non-conference or you rock and roll in conference play. If you do one or the other, you might make it into the playoffs. Indiana. Do you think they got a shot to win it all? Do you think Indiana has a shot to win it all? They would have to beat Oregon and they would have to beat the winner of Georgia, Ole Miss, and Miami. Yes, no, yes, maybe. I think Indiana is on a tear. They don't do anything. They remind me of BYU. They don't make mistakes. Did you see any pre-snap penalty, illegal formation? The only time there was any confusion at Indiana is when the headset didn't work. That is one hell of a football team. And Indiana has a shot to win it all, just as good a shot as Oregon, who they've already beaten this year, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Miami. It's asking players to play more game. You cancel the conference championship game, and then you're asking some teams to play one more game. Pay the players. Michael says Indiana had proven it's legit. Ole Miss ain't advancing. It will depend on how Oregon plays. Yes. The architect, my request is on campus. CFP games until the Natty. Michigan is going to be good. They just got to get some receivers. I agree. Bama should not have been in. I think Notre Dame should have been in, but it was really close. We are going to open up the phone lines. We are opening up the phone lines. What do you think is going on in these playoffs? What do you think is going to happen? What is your thoughts on Indiana crushing Bama in this new world of college football when Indiana Hoosiers, the Indiana Hoosiers, who have lost more games than any other college football program in the history of college football with the second most games, look at where they're the number one team in the country, the number one seed, and they're beating Bama. I don't even know what the score is. 38-3, whatever it is. Phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. Welcome in. This is Postgame. Subscribe. Ring the notification bell. Coleman is going to Texas or Texas A&M. Cam Coleman is available for Michigan. Yeah, you got Cam Coleman in the portal, the great wide receiver of Auburn, and he is great. If you watch an Auburn game, he has not had a passing offense to give him the ball. And you've got Isaac Brown, the great running back from Louisville. He's in the portal. You got Sam Levitt. He's in the portal. A lot of you believe he's going to LSU. Daniel Gorby rolled Tide. The Tide got rolled. Berman says the Peach Bowl winner is winning it all, and I don't think it's close. And I believe that is the Indiana-Oregon game, correct? Or am I wrong on that, Berman? Michigan just got Jay Hill from BYU. What would it take for Yormark and Phillips to get on board with 24? That's the question, isn't it, Stormy Cyclone? That's the question that I do not have an answer for. I am bewildered. I don't understand that whole thing. I do not understand that whole thing. I don't get it. And we're going to talk, look, when these playoffs are over, we're going to be talking, they're going to have to make a decision by January 23rd. So we're going to be talking a lot about playoff format here in the future. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. B-Bean, Greg was correct about Indiana Saturday. Sorry, I doubted you, Greg. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the playoffs, it is Greg the Gold. All night long, baby. Let's go. Phone lines are open. If you want to cut the music, give me a call. The phone lines are open. Postgame. Final. Indiana in victory formation. 38-3. The Hoosiers versus the Ducks. My, oh my. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give me a call, 763-260-1333. Indiana. B. Beans got Indiana already defeating Oregon. Oh, boy. Versus Georgia and Miami will be explosive. Too bad the Buckeyes lost, but you know what? At least the Buckeyes lost because they got beat. You know, they got beat. They got beat on the football field. They got beat. Chris Sadowski, thanks for coming on in. Beat like a rented mule. I'd call, but I got to charge my phone. Low battery, Stephen Vitt. Pacific Northwestern Utes. So sorry for the Buckeyes. Not. K. Newman, yes, we need a Super League and 24 playoff teams. I don't think we're going to get a Super League. But I think there's a chance for 24 playoff teams. Christopher Hooter, thanks for coming on in. Movie Time Blues. Could Cignetti be the new Saban? I don't know. I mean, we are in a different world. In this world, hold on. I'm not taking a shot at Nick Saban. What he did was unbelievable. But this world, it's more difficult. There's more teams that can rise up. There's more things coming at you. Right? And Kirk Cignett's recruiting ground around Bloomington is nothing like what Nick Saban had at Alabama. Again, what Nick Saban did was unbelievable. It was extraordinary. It's just more difficult now. I don't think, look, I might look like a schmuck here, but I don't think Cignetti is going to have the run that Nick Saban had. But this is a very well-coached team. And Kirk Herbstreit, I got to give him a little bit of, got to give him some flowers here. He said during the football game that Kirk Cignetti is a great evaluator of talent. He is. He did it at James Madison. He's doing it at Indiana. You've got to be a great evaluator. You've got rev share. You've got NIL. Look, there's a lot of teams out there that have spent a lot of money on NIL. There's a lot of teams out there that want to all the way up to 16, 17 million of the $20.5 million rev share money that they gave to the football players. You've got Florida State. They spent a lot of money. Nebraska, they spent a lot of money. Go right through the teams, right through the conferences. A lot of money spent. But Indiana is sitting here at 14-0 with a shot to be 16-0. Was Indiana, did they give Fernando Mendoza the highest offer when he left California? I don't know. Maybe they were. Maybe they did give the highest offer. But you got to believe that Mendoza looked at Indiana and what they did last year with Curtis Rourke, what they did last year. And then he said, I want to go there. Just like how Carson Beck said, I want to go to Miami. Look what they did with Cam Ward. Phone lines are open, 763-260-1333. Now, we all do fall, and I'm as guilty as anybody else. We make every single football game, college football game, a referendum on what is happening right now. Right? And we should not do that. We should not do that. We should not make it a referendum on how successful Kalen DeBoer is going to be in the future at Alabama. We should not make it a referendum that Indiana is going to automatically win the championship. We should not make it a referendum that Big Ten now is equal with the SEC. Although I think that's true. Not one game should be a referendum on anything. But, come on. At some point, again, I'm the last guy over the bridge. At some point, you got to call it like it is. We did a live show on Tuesday night. My first live show back after my vacation. And the live show was, the sun is setting on SEC dominance. The sun is setting on it. It is no longer reality. The Southeastern Conference, great conference, could be the top conference along with the Big Ten. But it is no longer going to dominate the sport as long as we have these new rules in place. It just ain't going to happen. And you can see it on the football field. You're seeing it on the football field. You are not seeing these incredible, dominant SEC offensive lines. You're not seeing it anymore because they're being restricted. Everybody else is spending money. They're not going to win every recruiting battle. They don't have all the money in the world. Everybody has money. Some has less. Guys want to play. The 5 stars don't want to be third string tackle on Alabama. They want to be first string guards on Indiana. That's what's going on. So the dominance is over. Now, did I say it is over for the Southeastern Conference to be the best football? Can the Southeastern Conference respond? Can Georgia or Ole Miss win it all? Can the Southeastern Conference win it all next year? Can they be the best? Yes, of course they can. But the dominance is over. It is. In my strongly held opinion. Al Woody, let's see how many Bama players hit the portal. BYU will have fun playing Notre Dame next year. Bimba 75, 79. Bimba, I agree with you. I agree with you and I don't know what the backlash is. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if the Big 12 people are going to be like, Greg, you're crazy. I don't know if the ACC people are going to say, Greg, you're crazy. I don't know if the Southeastern Conference people in our PATC family are going to say you're crazy. I did not say, Bimba 75, 79. I did not say that after Michigan won it. I did not say that after Ohio State won it, and I wasn't prepared to say it after these playoffs. But I am now. I am. Vanderbilt, Indiana, Texas Tech, Arizona State, you're seeing all these teams rise up. They only may rise for a couple of years, and they may go back down. That's going to happen in college football. Utah was 4-8 last year. Utah was 4. Look what they did this year. Look what they did this year. Look what BYU has done for the last 4 or 5 years. Look what Duke has done. 9 wins, ACC championship. It's a whole new world out there, guys. It's a whole new, brave world out there. The phone lines are open. Give us a call. Dave Alinsky, Mr. Golden Gopher, Super Chat. Thank you so very much. Zero Wiz, I'm gonna get to your membership, Sparty. Dave Alinsky, the SEC schools used to rely on getting money from car dealership owners. NIL now makes it that car manufacturer can put a huge chunk of money into a team. Thank you for the $10 holler, Dave Alinsky. And as you know, Dave Alinsky, we have heard in the last couple of weeks at the University of Minnesota, Cub Food is getting heavily involved in NIL at Minnesota. And that is why we were able to retain every single one of the players that we wanted to retain, except for Corey Perch. He has not made that decision yet. Corey Perch is going to either stay at Minnesota, or he's going to be knocking on the door to go to Ohio State, or going to be playing back with Corey Heatherman at the University of Miami. Thank you, Dave Alinsky. Thank you for the $10 holler. I very much appreciate it.
Call from
Jose, fight on.
Jose, fight on. Can you hold on for 1 minute?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry about this. I have not got to the incredible generosity of Zero Wiz. This is college football at its finest. Early peak cloak and dagger member for 21 months. Sparty, and again, we're going to be talking a lot about Michigan State in the offseason. What just happened at East Lansing? Well, they got a new coach, a coach that had a brilliant career at Northwestern that do not have the resources that Michigan State has. Michigan State, what do they got? A donation of $500 million, $300 million, $400 million. I don't even remember how much it was. Again, these big monster billionaires all over the country are opening up their checkbook. It's not just happening with Cody Campbell. Michigan State is going to be something that we are going to need to watch. Thank you so much, Zero Wiz. I appreciate it. Early peak cloak and dagger member, Zero Wiz. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Fight on, Jose. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you for having me go for Godfather. I didn't know how to react when you were attempting to give USC the preseason kiss of death by guaranteeing that we were going to make the playoffs.
Yes.
I kind of was on the fence on it because I know postseason you're the gold, but preseason. But then I was like, you know what? You had predicted Penn State, I think, would win the Big Ten. It's just when you guarantee that someone's going to win a championship or a conference title. So that excludes the USC prediction of making the playoffs. So the Trojans should be fine, I think.
Yeah. And plus, Jose, I'm a more wise, more mature fat guy from Minnesota. You know, I've learned my lessons. I've gotten beat up a bit with my predictions. I've risen up. I'm Lazarus. I'm the Phoenix. I'm back on my feet again. And therefore, when I say that USC is going to make the college football playoffs next year, book it. Book it, PATC family members. Are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? Bookmark this. Tape this comment. The USC Trojans going to make the college football playoff next year. And Jose, deep down in his soul, fight on, Jose knows I'm absolutely correct. Go ahead, sir. The floor is yours once again.
Yes, next year's going to be our year. I'm just hoping Jade Mayava doesn't regress like he looked like he might have been in this bowl. I don't know if it was the time off, having 4 weeks. He just did not look good out there whatsoever. Yeah. His reading the defense just wasn't as sharp as it was during the regular season. The chatter in USC villages is, who's on Longstreet. We don't want to lose him to the portal. We need to have an open competition in the spring, give him a shot to win that QB1 position, and that's what I think Lincoln Riley should do. I don't know why it sounds like he's kind of christening Mayava already as the starter. I don't think that's what he should be even implying in his responses when he gets questioned that. So I think that's wrong. But I was wondering what you think about
on Longstreet. Is there any rumors? Any steam?
No, it's radio silence. It's radio silence. Lincoln did say he was going to have a big reveal in January about something. It might be maybe that he re-signed Husan Longstreet. We'll see what his big reveal is going to be. But he said he was keeping things close to the vest. So we'll see. Maybe just that Longstreet hadn't made up his mind yet, but I don't know. But I wanted to get your take on what you think about Michigan hiring their new defensive coordinator, and if Wink Martindale would be a good fit for USC at defensive coordinator. He runs that same scheme. He runs that same scheme that Lynn does, and it would contribute to continuity. But I know there's better options out there. Jen particularly likes Kwiatkowski. But I was wondering what your take would be on Martindale.
I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought about what Martindale is going to do. Is there any reports that USC might be looking in that direction?
It's also very quiet in that. They said they wanted to get it done within the months. Everyone, the consensus is Pete Kwiatkowski is the odds-on favorite. But now that Wink Martindale has become available, it kind of reopened the search. But I don't know. I don't even know if you thought that might be, or if you had any intel on what he might be interested in doing, if he's got something else maybe lined up. Or
I hadn't. I'm going to go ahead and poke and prod on that. I haven't even thought about it. Jay Hill. It was announced, I think, early today, right? This morning.
Yes.
So I haven't even thought about it, but I will poke on that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. It's just something that just sprung up now, and we didn't even think that, that'd be a possibility, but now it is. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know what he'd be looking salary-wise, or if he'd even be interested in moving out to LA. I don't even know how old he is. But I think his scheme is identical to Lynn's. So, that we wouldn't have to change anything up coming in the new season. But that's just something that we've been talking about since Jay Hill was hired at Michigan, and now Wink is available. Yeah. All right, go for Godfather. Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. I appreciate the phone call.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming live again. It really makes my day.
You got it, buddy.
I appreciate
it. Thank you, sir.
Fight on.
Fight on. Beautiful.
Call from
Scott Grable.
Scott Grable, can you hold on for just 1 second, sir?
Absolutely.
We've got breaking news. We've got breaking news. Five hours away from the portal opening up officially. We are 5 hours away, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Grable, go ahead, sir. Tough loss tonight. What are your thoughts on it?
Hey, just first thing, just want to say congratulations to the Indiana people.
Yeah.
Y'all whooped our butts. It's all good. It is what it is. SEC's down this year. Big Ten's had a decent bowl season. SEC sucked. It's just the way it is. Football is cyclical. As most Alabama fans are unreasonable. They haven't watched this, go through the 90s, mid-90s, and early 2000s when we were really bad. So, it is what it is. Congratulations to Indiana. I'm not going to hide because I'm a Bama fan. I'm still proud of our team.
Yeah.
I think our team is soft, and we're going to have to do something about that. I don't know if it's coaching or players. I believe it has to do with coaching, but hopefully the AD gets involved and they get rid of Grubb, because I think it's a Grubb problem.
Oh, okay. Well, it's definitely an offensive line problem, because those running backs do not have a chance.
Definitely. Yeah, they need to get rid of Grubb, and they need to get rid of the O-line coach, and they need to get somebody in there with fire. I mean, that's the only difference, really. I think DeBoer's a good coach, but I think he's a little too friendly. I'm not saying fire him, because I think he's a really good coach, but that team is soft. Yeah. That team was never soft under Saban. We have not. Georgia whooped our butts. I mean, the 2 butt whoopings we took in the last 4 weeks, embarrassing.
Yeah.
But congratulations to Indiana, and I just wanted to say that. And roll Tide forever.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yeah, sure.
What are your thoughts on Ole Miss and Georgia coming up here?
Well, I think Georgia is peaking at the right time. You never know. That's why they played on the ball field.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they played on the field. I picked Alabama and Ohio State. So, what do I know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's look. College football is more unpredictable than ever. And like I said earlier today, none of us knows jack. None of us knows anything. The reality is that's just the way it is. I'm pretending.
I mean,
I
mean, if you look at the staffs and you look at the talent, you say Georgia, but you never know. I mean.
Yeah.
Ole Miss has got a good offense, so they could get hot and put up 50 points. So,
They've already played once. It was 40-something, 30-something, I believe.
Right.
And Georgia could not stop Ole Miss until, I don't know, maybe the beginning of the fourth quarter, if I remember correctly. And then suddenly Georgia stopped Ole Miss. So are we going to see offensive fireworks again tonight? I don't know.
I think it goes one of two ways. It either goes like the first game or Georgia blows them out. I think those are the only 2 ways I can see it.
Yeah.
But, and that Georgia-Miami game is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
If it turns out that way. But
yeah.
I just wanted to call in. I'm not one of them fans that are going to hide when we lose and cry about it. It happens.
Scott Grable, you are a class act, my friend.
All right, well, congratulations to Indiana fans. You have a good night, Greg. Thank you for all you do.
Appreciate it. Great call. Scott Grable, class act, fantastic caller, fantastic PATC member, Scott Grable. Roll Tide forever. And like I said, congratulations to the Buckeyes, congratulations to the Red Raiders, and congratulations to Alabama for the seasons that they've had.
Call from
Rick is on the line. Rick, can you hold on for a moment, please?
Oh, sure.
I do appreciate it. We got Christopher Hooter, LSU Tiger. He's possibly getting ready for Sam Levitt to come to Baton Rouge. We're going to find out if LSU gets Sam Levitt. If Lane Kiffin gets Sam Levitt, we're all going to be in trouble. We're all going to be in trouble. Christopher Hooter, need Georgia to win so LSU can get their OC back. Thank you, Christopher Hooter, for the $2 holler. He wants Ole Miss to lose. We got Dave Valinsky. Super chat. What do you think of Brown leaving the Gophers and going to the portal? I don't know what you're talking about, Dave Walensky. You talking about Kerry Brown? I have not seen that announcement. Let me know, Dave, if you're talking about Kerry Brown. I thought he was coming back. If you are talking about Kerry Brown, that is not a good situation for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. But I was under the belief he is coming back. Was that announced this evening? I do not. Other than that, I'm not sure who you're talking about. Thank you for the $5 holiday, but please clear it up in the chat. I want to make sure that's not Kerry Brown. Rick, the floor is yours. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it, sir.
Oh, my pleasure. We got one more good game to go.
Yes.
And then we'll have to stay up late seeing who enters the portal.
Yeah. It's gonna be wild.
The names are gonna be flying out the door.
Yeah.
And about half of them are only doing it to leverage their position for no money.
It could be, yes. Could be.
They
Yep.
almost do it with a wink and a nod, fully intending on coming back, but
Yep.
seeing their true value on the open market.
Yep.
After seeing the games, I'm inclined to really want to go with a 4-4-2-2-1-3.
Okay. I just don't think you're going to get any. You're not going to get the support to get that through. But go ahead, sir, with your argument.
And give me the support that's not going to be for it. All I need is Sankey's support.
Yes, you do. That's kind of true, except it's true, but it's not true. In other words, it's true technically it's true. But we're also in the world of trying to keep all four conferences together to try to get this SCORE Act passed. And I don't think it's a good time to get Congress pissed off, those that represent counties that are associated with the Big 12 and the ACC. I don't think politically you can do a 4-4-2-2 at this point.
Well, first of all, the politicians don't know what they're talking about, and everybody knows that part.
Yeah.
And then number two is we're dealing with the facts. And the facts are you've got one team in and not two, and they get knocked out every year.
Yep.
Talking about the ACC and the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
I agree. I agree, but I would argue, and again, I get, a lot of Big Ten people do not agree with me. A lot of SEC people don't agree with me. But my 4-4-4-4-2-6 does not mean, in my mind, it does not mean I'm equalizing the conferences. I'm equalizing the floor, but I'm not punishing the SEC or the Big Ten because they're probably going to get a lot more berths as the years go on because we're not capping them at 4 because you got the 6 at large. I understand what you're saying. I get it.
I'm not capping them at 2 because you've got the 3 extra.
You are correct, but politically to have
we're not gonna do this political.
Okay.
That's those days are over.
Well, look, it's politics that is keeping the Southeastern Conference from not expanding right now. It's politics that is keeping the Big Ten from not expanding right now. So politics is playing a part of no expansion, and politics is going to play a part of the formation of the college football playoffs. And I think Petitti recognized that, and that's why he changed the 4-4-2-2-1-3 to the 4-4-4-4-2-6. I think politically he recognized that that was a no-go. I also have to say, I think he's probably, and I'm just guessing here, I'm speculating, that he's probably pretty disappointed that he hasn't gotten more public support from Phillips and Yormark on this idea. But go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the reply would be, yeah, but that doesn't pay the bills. And what does pay the bills are the boys and girls at ESPN and NBC and ABC and Fox. They pay the bills. They don't want 12. They want 16. And the only way you're going to get 16 from Petitti's standpoint, and that's all that matters, because you got to have them.
Yeah.
I say Sankey is easy. He's going to do what ESPN says to do. Whatever the mouse tells him, he's going to do it. But to get Sankey's support, which is in essence is ESPN, and they want it, there's a lot of money left on the table with 12 instead of 16. How much money's lost?
There is more money on the table, yes.
How much money is lost with play-in games if they go to 16?
I don't know. I don't know about the play-in situation. I do know if they go to 16, if I get disappointed and they don't go directly to 24, if they go to 16, they better not have this double bye stuff. It better be 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, 3 versus 14. It better not be 13 through versus 16, 14 through versus 15, and then the winner of those two games, now it's 3 against the lowest rated team, 4 against the second rated team, and then 5 versus 12, and 6 versus 11, and 7, and then you have a double bye for the top 2 teams. They better not pull that out of the hat, because I am going to burn it all down if that is the final result of all their meetings.
There's no need for that. They're doing it right now where the top 4 have 1 week bye and one set out. They can do the same thing with the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, and the SEC. The number 1 team from each of those conferences sits out week 1.
Well,
that leaves you with 8.
But no, because then you would have 12 teams left, and the
Correct.
winner of those 12 teams, it'd be 6. There'd be 10 teams left. So no, with a 16-team playoff, if you are going to have a bye in it, you're going to have a double bye. 16 doesn't work with a bye, because then you're going to end up having a double bye for the top 2 teams. There's no other way to work it. 24 is the perfect number, ladies and gentlemen. 24 is the perfect number.
No, they don't want that.
Well, that's why we have the army of 24, and we continue to march forward against all the odds.
That's too much freight to carry.
Bring it on.
You'll sink the ship.
That's fine. Let's sink it.
Okay. Enjoy the game.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate the phone call, sir. Great phone call. Excellent. Ryan Willie, we'll get to your super chat in a moment here. I got to clean something up. Give me a moment, everybody. I appreciate it. Appreciate your patience. The phone lines are open. This is a open line post-game, January 1st, Indiana, Alabama post-game.
Call from
Rock and Rant.
Rock and Rant, can you hold on for a moment, please?
Sure.
I got so much to clean up here. Everything has gone pear-shaped in the studio. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. By the way, congratulations, Rock and Rant, with the Miami Hurricane victory over the Buckeyes. Well deserved. That was a win, clean knockout. Holy smokes! Hold on 1 second.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, hold on. All right. Let me get to Evil Badger. $5 holler. I just got to get caught up here. Evil Badger. SEC equals just means more. SEC just means more excuses. I gotta thank you for the $5 holler, Evil Badger. I have not seen any excuses tonight in the chat room. Scott Grable, a great Alabama Crimson Tide family member of the PATC, came on live on a phone call and congratulated Indiana and basically said this is not the year for the Southeastern Conference. Georgia's got a shot in his opinion, but I have not seen any excuses. Really. Not tonight. Thank you, Evil Badger. Thank you for the $5 holler. I very much appreciate it. Stephen McNeely says, Greg, I don't want to hear anymore. The SEC is the best, most powerful conference in the country, because they're not anymore. They're not. Again, I said, I'm the last one to cross over the bridge. I think the SEC and the Big Ten are now all knotted up. I do not agree that the SEC is the best football conference in the country anymore. I do not believe that. I do not believe it. I cannot believe I'm saying that, but I do not believe it anymore. And it's been 3 years of this. I think they're a great football conference. I think they're the best along with the Big Ten at this moment. It could all change next year. The new coaches in the Southeastern Conference, they could roll on, and crush the Big Ten. It could be the ACC. It could be the Big 12. But I cannot honestly say that anymore. Stephen McNeely, I will not be saying that until the end of the playoffs in 2026, if I say it even then. Dave Alinsky, $2 holler. Sorry, it was Minnesota quarterback Zaquan Bryant. Okay, yeah, he's in the portal. That's not a problem. I thought you meant Kerry Brown. I don't know. I'm not sure where Bryant's going to go. It's not. He got passed up. He got injured, unfortunately. It just did not work out. Rock and Rant. Before you go on, I got to tell you something here.
I'm all ears.
Corey Pirich has not signed on with Minnesota yet.
Oh my Lord.
Everybody else has. The people that Minnesota wanted to keep, the top players, they've had a great run. They've retained every one of their dudes, all of them, including Anthony Smith, 12.5 sacks, Darius Taylor, Drake Lindsey. I could go on and on and on. But Corey Pirich has not signed yet. The latest reports out of Minnesota 247 and the great Ryan Burns is this. Corey Pirich, he's either going to be playing probably most likely with Minnesota, but if it's not Minnesota, he's going to be signing up with the Buckeyes, or he's going to go back with Corey Heatherman to the University of Miami. So buckle up, brace for impact. Go ahead, sir. Thank you for your patience, Rock and Rant. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. First of all, Happy New Year to you. Missed you. Hope you had a good break. Hope everything's
Yep.
as good as possible with the family. And
Yep.
glad to get you back on twice. Man, the Koi Perch stuff, I mean, I don't wish that on you because I know how devastating that would be to the program. But, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I would love for him to take a trip down to South Florida and hang out with this guy. The other best import we've ever had, even if he never coaches another game, even if he goes to the NFL, Corey Heatherman will be a legend forever for what he did this year as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Coaching matters. And I think he's going to – they'll never be able to settle for something below that after reestablishing what used to be pretty tremendous. And look, I thought Miami was going to win. I just never expected it to be in quite the fashion that it wound up being. And I'll let you know when my feet touch the ground again. It hasn't happened in the last 24 hours. It's 20 years of not a lot of losing seasons, but a lot of just 7-5 on average, right? Not a lot of like back-to-back losing, not a bad 7 or 8 year stretch like some other teams in our rival sphere have had. But other than a moment or two there, it's been pretty like drinking lukewarm coffee. It's neither cold nor hot. It's in the middle. It's never, which is never great. So it was pretty damn impressive. I think I got to give credit to Mario beyond just the obvious of the recruiting. Deontay was like number 715 in the portal, which I know you saw earlier, but just to do that. Mo Toure was like 956. The linebacker who did that devastating hit on the second and goal from in the Texas A&M game. So yes, they've certainly gotten the Cam Wards and Carson Becks, but it's not all been the $1 million men. There's been some true discoveries there, and I got to give them credit on that. So I'm looking forward to Miami being, at least for one more game, perhaps the darling of a lot of America outside of the SEC, because they're in the prime position to eliminate the SEC from the college football playoff and have it be the first time since like 2001 that the SEC was not involved in the championship for 3 years in a row.
Wow, that'd be incredible. Yep.
So that's whether it's Ole Miss or Georgia, right? One of them is going to get there, and Miami's in a position to make sure that doesn't happen. Think about that. Like, let's say, the other thing that would be sort of fascinating to me in a way is if, and I don't expect this, so I think people forget that Ole Miss was leading Georgia heading into the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Right before the fourth quarter. I'm not expecting it, but if Ole Miss were to win tonight, Miami would be the bluest blood left in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Oregon, Indiana is an incredible blue blood on the basketball side, but certainly is not on the football side. So they are establishing stuff, and you got to give. I mean, I don't like Kurt Signetti, but man, that guy can coach his ass off.
Yeah.
And
yes.
and what he's done with there. So credit to them. Be aware of your radio tomorrow if Feinbaum's on, because the car might melt if you have that on, listening to the drama that's going to be on there with the Alabama fans. And I know that was not ideal, but look, I think there's been some great callers in here who are owned their loss, but there is a narrative out there on the SEC side that is a very flip from last year, right? Last year, bowls mattered a lot, right? ACC rightfully got mocked despite opt-outs and everything for a terrible bowl record too. All I want people to do, whether it's national media or fans, is try to be somewhat intellectually consistent. If your bowl record mattered last year despite opt-outs, then if the tables flip on your conference this year, you can't say that it doesn't matter that they didn't try, or at least have some personal integrity in your argument, be somewhat consistent. And I think not necessarily callers or the PATC community, but that's definitely out there as a thing, is that bowls don't matter. But somehow they mattered last year when the ACC got ripped. And I'm not saying the ACC shouldn't have got ripped, but you can't have it the other way this year.
Yeah, I look at bowl games like this. There are, maybe these bowl games don't really all that. Now, of course, bowl games matter to a lot of these players. Bowl game matters to a lot of fans because they want to root for their team. These bowl games matter to the networks. They matter to the local businesses who's advertising and all that stuff. But if you're looking at, like, if you want to compare conferences or whatever, no one single bowl game really matters when it comes to that. If you're talking globally, no one bowl game really matters. But it's funny because if you look at the bowl records of these conferences, they do show you a trend line that matches what happens in the playoffs. They do. If you have all, and it's really obvious. It's obvious. It's the gap no longer really exists. And all I can say is we got away with it this year. Miami almost did not make the playoffs. Okay? They almost did not make the playoffs. And what a shame that would have been. And I know you might disagree with me because you enjoy throwing elbows at the Irish fans right now, and I don't blame you. But
I think would just shut up. Shut up and get out of my algorithm. I'll stop throwing it. But if you're going to keep crying all over my timeline, I'm going to keep shooting you.
Okay. But I think it's a shame. Now, again, I'm back on my soapbox. But I think it's a shame that Notre Dame's not in the playoffs, that BYU, Utah. I would have loved to see these. This world has changed so dramatically that the talent is so spread out that I am having a very difficult time. You think you all are having a difficult time listening to me go on my soapbox every night. I'm having a difficult time listening to people that I enjoy listening to. People like Josh Pate. People like, people saying, no, only the best 12 teams should be in. Only the best 8 teams should be in. Whatever. And I just want to yell. I just want to yell at them. I just want to grab them and shake them and say, you have no idea who the best 8 or 12 teams are. You don't. I don't. Rock and Rant don't. We all bicker about it. We all throw elbows at each other. We all debate. We all try to be as intelligent as possible, but we don't know. And the number one reason why we don't know, besides all the talent being spread out like it is teams are allowed to get better during the season. Miami was better at the end of the season. Notre Dame was. There was a lot of teams that were. And in this day and age, they're not all getting the playoffs. And just another reason why the playoffs have to expand. They just have to. Rock and Rand, I'll give you the final word.
Yeah, the last thing I just want to comment was, and barring, of course, the future playoff expansion, the bowl season itself, I think there's a problem with the bowl season, but I don't think it's the same problem that everybody else thinks. It's a marketing and a scarcity problem, right? Because if you go back to, let's say, before the BCS computer era, Greg, and not everyone in the chat will remember that, but at best, when you had the national champion being completely just determined by AP writers or coaches writers, right?
Yeah.
You had at best, there were 4 bowl games that were involved in the national title conversation. At best. Sometimes just one because you got the matchup. Yeah. And sometimes, often just 2, where you knew whoever was winning one of these 2 games was probably going to politic to win. That means that every other bowl game that was happening had no relevancy in terms of the quote-unquote playoff or the national title, really, because that's the ultimate goal. And they existed fine, right? And there were not as many as there are now. That's the scarcity issue. But there was, 18, 15, 20, not 28, 30, 32, whatever has been happening. And people, they went to them. And not every one of those games were sold out, but they were, well-attended. Some failed. They went away. But it's a marketing problem, too, despite the playoff. And yes, now you have, the quality of some of those games has gone down because now you're down to, essentially 6 premier bowl games worth of teams removed from that pool. But if they just did a better job if they did a better job like the Puck Tarts Bowl does and a couple of other ones do, I mean, that was the Camping World Bowl, the Russell Athletic Bowl. It wasn't like it was a good paycheck bowl, but it wasn't like people were talking about it after the game. Mm-hmm. They just did a great job marketing. So I think there's a solid for the bowl season too, alongside whatever the playoff happens, whether it goes to 16, goes to your 24 model. But everyone's doing really a lazy job on both analyzing what's wrong with bowl season, in my opinion, and the people who are behind it are doing a really crappy job adding value to it. So maybe there's a way to fix it once they figure out what the playoff is really going to be, because as bad as some of the games have been, some of them have been really great, and there is no such thing as a bad football game, because in 2 weeks we're going to be missing it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I will tap out, let everybody else go. Glad to have you back. Have a great New Year again.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate it. Great phone call, Rock and Rant. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Don Scruggs. I do not understand this comment. Does PATC think that UGA is a fake? No, I don't think Georgia's a fake. I said that Georgia, I listed the teams that I thought were a real threat to win it all, and Georgia is always on my list. I don't think Georgia is a fake. I think Georgia can win it all. I think Georgia can beat Ole Miss. I think Georgia can beat Miami. I think Georgia can beat Oregon. I think Georgia can beat Indiana. But you're going to have to give Nate Frazier the rock. You're going to have to give Frazier the rock. But I don't think Georgia's fake. I don't think Georgia is fake at all. Not at all. You know that, Don Scruggs. You know that. I think this Georgia Bulldogs team is a hell of a football team. Son of Sarek, Super Chat. Great question. $2 holler from Son of Sarek. Why the Big Ten taking so long to release the 2026 schedule? I just think it happens. First of all, maybe they had to wait on the USC Notre Dame resolution. And the resolution is this: they're not playing in 2026. But I don't know if that's the case. I'm just bringing that up for speculation. I don't know if that really is the case. It could be that the Big Ten, when they release that schedule, it's going to be on the Big Ten network, right? They want to own that. They want to own that media cycle, college football media cycle. They want to be able to put it up on the screen. People talk about it. All the reporters talking about it. And maybe there is just too much going on right now with the college football playoffs. You're going to have the portal opening up tomorrow. Again, we are 4 hours away from the portal opening up officially. So that's my speculation. They're waiting to be able to own the night to release that out. Again, we know who we are playing, but we don't know the dates of who we play, right? We don't know. So I am waiting with a lot of nervousness for the Minnesota Golden Gopher football schedule. I'm a little nervous on that. Son of Sarek, thank you so much for the $2 holler. I very much appreciate it. BYU should have been in. UGA is the real deal. I agree. I think USC is going to make the playoff next year. I have guaranteed it. Bookmark it. I have guaranteed the Trojans are going to make the playoff next year. All right, guys, we are going to be leaving you here. I know you guys want to watch Ole Miss in Georgia. I do not have the time to do the watch party on it. I appreciate you all joining us for the post-game Indiana Alabama post-game. I appreciate you all joining us again. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel, ring the notification bell, and smash the like button. We are going to be going live tomorrow. We are going to be producing videos throughout the week. So ring that notification bell. Get yourself notified when we come on live or when we release a video. I want to thank John Teal, Zero Wiz, Dave Valenci, Christopher Hooter, Evil Badger, PNW Ute. Happy NIL year. It's going to be a heated one. Pacific Northwest Ute. Happy NIL year. The portal is opening in 4 hours. Thank you, PNW Ute. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you so very much. Son of Sarah, thank you guys. Thank you for the phone calls. Thank you for the comments. Again, next time will be tomorrow. So buckle up, brace for impact. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, Peek Around the Corner, college football. To all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. We'll see you tomorrow. And as always, God, family,